What's going on YouTube? In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a portable guitar amp called the Jam Buddy from a company called Joyo. With a built-in battery, onboard effects, and Bluetooth, we're going to find out if it's worth your time, effort, and money. With that said, let's dive in. Alright, so doing a quick unboxing of this amp, you'll see Jam Buddy instructions right on the top. Taking the amp out of the packaging, the first thing I noticed was this thing is actually quite small, which is fantastic because the whole idea of this is to be portable. Joyo name is across the top here, and you can see it's pretty simplistic and self-explanatory. You have input on one side, output on the other, headphone jack. Nothing really wild about this that stands out. Also comes with the power cable, which is also a charging cable for the battery on board. So this is the Jam Buddy by Joyo, and the fact that I can hold it with one hand should give you an idea of exactly how portable it is. Again, I'd like to thank Joyo for reaching out and sending me one of these and supporting my small channel. I really do appreciate it. What I'm going to do now is take a closer look at the buttons and functionality of this guitar amp, and from there I'm going to get into doing some demos. Alright, so taking a closer look at this amp slash kind of effects pedal here, what we're going to do is flip on the power right there, and the other option here is the Bluetooth. If you have a Bluetooth capable device, we're going to flip this on. You can switch between channels here, and then from there you have two different drive modes. You have classic gain and high gain. Alright, across the top you're going to have a delay mix, which gives you some delay different options here. You have master volume, you have tone, you have drive gain, and of course, clean gain. On one side here, you have your input jack, which is where your guitar will go. And on the other side, you have headphones, or which is technically an output. And you have the 9-volt adapter, which of course charges this as well. Up across the top is where the speakers are. It does say Joyo across the top here, kind of in the speaker grate. And this device is actually pretty small when you consider, an actual amp size. And that's kind of the appeal to it, to be perfectly honest with you, that it would fit in a gig bag or in your hard shell case in the storage compartment there. So you can kind of take it along with you anywhere you want to go. So I'm going to get some demos going here in the studio. I'll be using a Shure SM57 to record all the demos for this amp, and I'll also be using all sub $500 guitars. Pretty much all these guitars I've reviewed on the channel at some point, and you can hear them, but they all sound pretty good anyway. I just didn't want you to feel like I was going to throw a $3,000 guitar at this amp to try to make it sound better. I think you'll find it sounds pretty good on its own. So let's check it out. So the first feature I'm going to demo on this is going to be the Bluetooth, and the reason for that is because it's probably the single coolest feature of this little amp. Now, aside from the fact that you can use it as just a Bluetooth speaker, what's really cool about this is it allows you to send backing tracks over from your cell phone. This is a really awesome feature for beginners who are just learning to play along and jam with tracks, and it's even better for some of the more advanced players that just want something to jam along with. Setup and pairing to the phone are simple enough. As you can see here, I'm showing you all you really have to do is turn the Bluetooth switch on, which I have it in the on position now. You flip it on, you go over to your device, whether it's a cell phone, iPad, tablet, doesn't really matter, Android, iOS. Open it up and find the Jam Buddy in the Bluetooth description here. Once you do that, all you have to do is pair to it and you're off and running. So check this out. Yeah, it's got a good nice little bluesy tone there. Add some delay to it. This tone knob here also allows you some different flexibility. Let's try it like this. All right, let's drop some gain on it. All right, so I've switched to something a little bit more metal for these metal takes, but it's still a budget instrument, Harley Benton. I did upgrade it with some guitar fetish pickups, got a bunch of videos in the channel about it if you're curious. All in all, about 300 into this guitar when it's all said and done. But just gonna do some quick metal clips here with it and see how this thing sounds. All right, so I'm out back by the fire pit. It's nice and quiet out here. I'm gonna do some quick Nylon demos here. It's a Nylon electric Hadean. We're gonna use it to just see how this thing sounds acoustically on a quiet night around the fire pit. So now it's time to take a look at the pros and cons of the Joyo Jam Buddy. Starting with the first pro, and that's going to be the Bluetooth. If it wasn't overly obvious from earlier in the video, that is one of the single coolest features about this amp. The ability to jam along with a backing track is something that benefits guitar players of all skill levels. And it's a great way to practice keeping time and playing along with musicians when you don't have a band around. And one note on this is that the volume from the Bluetooth device is independent of the volume on this amp. You actually control the volume of the Bluetooth from your Bluetooth device and the volume of your guitar through the amp. Oh, and did I mention you could just use this as a Bluetooth speaker? The second pro of this amp is definitely going to be the sound. For its size, I thought I was able to get some excellent tones out of it, and when you consider the fact that it's really kind of no frills, no extra software like some of the Positive Grid stuff, the overall just very basic simplicity of this, I felt I was able to get some pretty good sounds out of it. And I should add, it didn't take a lot of time to dial in those tones. It's very simplistic controls, very easy to use. Third pro to this is going to be the battery life on this thing. When it first arrived, I was really anxious to try it out, so I literally just took it out, turned it on, saw that it had a charge on it, was kind of surprised, like, all right, I'm going to give it a shot, powered it on, and was like, well, I'll charge it up tomorrow. And then tomorrow turned into the next day and the next day, and I kept playing it, and I've come to the realization that I haven't charged this thing yet. I recorded all of those demos, I've had it out back, I've played all around with it, and it's got to have at least 6 hours, probably more like 8 to 10, and I don't even know that it came fully charged. That brings us to pro number 4, and that's going to be price point. At the time of this video, the Jam Buddy is currently under the $80 price point, and when you consider the cost of simply buying a Bluetooth speaker, that's actually a very good value for what you get. And the fifth and final pro to the Jam Buddy is without a doubt going to be its size. With a small footprint, this thing is ultra portable, fitting in all of my gig bags and most of my hard shell cases. Bringing this thing along, you didn't even realize you had it with you. It's fairly light. You can see it's not very deep either. It's really kind of the size of two pedals put together. Or if you have your iPhone in front of you, it's kind of the size of two iPhones in overall width. So really small footprint, but packs a lot of punch. Now, one of the things I'm adding to my videos now is maybe a pro, maybe a con, depending on where you fall and what you're looking for. And there is one thing to discuss with this amp that you should know about before you buy one, because you might be looking for that or you might be against it. And that's the fact that there's no software integration whatsoever. It's not like the Positive Grid stuff where you have software to go along with the Bluetooth where you can add effects through your phone or through various other devices. This does not have that. It's pretty much all analog in that respect. And of course, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows. There are a few cons to this that you should know about before you consider purchasing one. And one of the cons, starting with con number one, is probably gonna be that it's not very loud. And when I say not very loud, it's reasonable enough if you're jamming in your room by yourself or you're sitting outside and playing. But if you were planning on playing with an acoustic drummer or something like that, this little guy's just not gonna keep up. And that really shouldn't be surprising, given its size and the size of the speakers that are in here. That's kind of obvious, but I still felt obligated to mention it. And of course, the second con is going to feed right into the first, and that is when you do turn the volume up to a higher level on this, you do get a little bit of unwanted distortion. It does get a little bit muddy. So that is something to consider, that if you're really looking to play loud, this is probably not going to be the little amp for you, but that should be obvious simply by its size and by the size of the speakers that are in it. The only other room for improvement with this little amp would have been a USB port. I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity that you could have had a pretty cool little interface for your computer with this. So with all that said, I think I've given you a pretty good idea of what you can expect if you purchase one of these. Overall, I found this thing to be awesome, and I'm really looking forward to using it on the go. I really just wanted something simplistic that I could take out back by the fire pit, play, relax, and not really have to worry about taking anything else with me. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope it helps you to make an informed decision. If you like guitar-related content, be sure to sub the channel, and if you'd like to know more about some of the guitars that I played in this video, be sure to check out this playlist right here, where I'll leave all the different videos that I did on reviews of those instruments. If you have any questions or comments, by all means, you know what to do, and as always, thanks for watching.